So good evening. Thank you all for being patient while we were handling some technical difficulties. We did have a 6:15 executive session to discuss the superintendent's annual evaluation and goal setting for this year. If we could please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll repeat that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A reading of the mission statement. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Roll call, Ms. Michaels.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco. Dr. Edlin.
Dr. Edlin, if you could acknowledge your presence in the
I
meeting.
am here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jordan. Mr. Rastus. Mr. Leland.
Here.
Ms. Sarsfield. Here. Ms. Lipinski. Dr. Tereseski.
Here. Okay, the announcements. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006.2, broadcasting of meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following the board meeting. Okay, we will have public comments on agenda items. As of a few minutes ago, we did not have anyone signed up for in-person public agenda items. If there's anyone online who wishes to speak, you can use the hand raise feature. And if you are called to speak, can you please state where you reside in the township? And we'll have about 3 minutes to comment.
Oh, attendees.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll go to Tracy Smith.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for allowing me to speak this evening. This is Tracy Smith of Pen Oak Road in Flowertown. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing Spartan Stadium access to the community. It is something that has been very much appreciated. I think some people are here this evening, and I know it will be addressed in the athletic health and safety plan. But I guess just clarification before the plan goes through, maybe that will help alleviate some of the questions or concerns that people may have. In terms of masking and attendance, I see where it says masking as appropriate. If we could get some clarification on that before the voting, that would be great. And I don't see anything in there in terms of spectator attendance. So I'm assuming at this point that means there would not be any limitations on spectator attendance policies at this point for Springfield. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. We will be sure to clarify that when the plan is discussed. Okay. Is there anyone else online who wishes to speak?
I'm seeing no hands.
Okay, thank you. Are we good? Okay. Approval of minutes. Proposed motion to approve the minutes from meetings on June 1st, 2021, an interim meeting board, and June 15th, 2021, a regular meeting of the board. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions? Okay. Mrs. Michaels?
Aye. Dr. Edlin, do you
Aye.
approve the meeting?
Thank you.
Minutes?
Aye. Approval of the treasurer's report. The Board of School Directors approves the treasurer's report dated July 31st, 2021. There a motion
Motion.
and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard,
Aye.
Dr. Eklund,
Dr. Edlin, Treasurer's Report.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Nealon, Ms. Sarsfield, Dr. Terratuski,
Aye. Can Carol hear us? Okay. Just
I
wanna make
think,
sure.
Carol, are you just hearing when my voice comes through?
I'm just hearing your voice. That's it.
all right.
Okay,
I can
that's about-
hear Dr. Terratuski very, very, very low, but I do hear her. And that's about it.
Great. So thank you guys for having so much patience here as we work through the tech. I think we should swap back and forth on the microphone
Mhm.
when Ms. Michaels is going through roll call. And then I will get this even closer to Dr. Teratuski.
Ms. Michaels is going to sign into the Zoom.
Perfect.
So that we can hear her.
Wonderful.
great.
Ms. Michaels is going to sign into the Zoom as well. And then I will just mute when we get to that section.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work. Okay. All right, reports and information. Policy Committee report, Mr. Needleman. I just want to make sure you can be heard.
I'm going to deliver.
Oh, thank you. I was gonna come over. All right, thank you. I feel like there's a spotlight. So I'm substituting this evening for Mr. DeFranco. So everybody, forgive me. You'll have to put up with me for just a moment. We had a policy meeting on the 10th of August last week. Present at the meeting were Dr. Yannicone, Mr. DeFranco, Rich Oliver, and myself. The most important thing about the meeting was the policy updates that are going to be coming through. I didn't realize this, but there had been, not every policy of the school board, but most of them are going to be updated, and the PSBA, the School Board Association, is going to be helping with that. They're going to be sending through recommended updates to the policies to keep us in compliance with Pennsylvania law and with the school code. As the recommended language comes in from PSBA, we'll be able to update the policies and keep ourselves current as we need to be. All of the policies, once they're updated, are going to be available on the board docs software. Technical glitches, what's that phrase? There's a hitch in the giddy up. All of that notwithstanding, they'll be available for everybody to look at. And I think, Dr. Yannicone, you said there'll be notifications as each policy is updated once it's available on board docs, correct? Do I have that right?
Yes, what'll happen is, currently the board has approved moving them back to the solicitor for final review. They will then be revised based on the language that was recommended by PSBA. Following that, they'll be brought to the board for a first and a second reading before being formally adopted.
Right, and once they're formally adopted, the public will be able to.
Once they're
view
formally
them.
adopted, they'll be added to the program.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I've got for the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Needleman. I hope everyone is able to hear that. Finance Committee report, Mr. Jeffrey Bedard.
All right, I have the Finance Committee report. We had a meeting, I guess it was last Thursday, August 14th. Committee members present were myself, Mr. DeFranco, and Dr. Etlin, and from the administration, Dr. Yannicone, Ms. Michaels, and Ms. Braun. We discussed four main topics. The first is a proposed update to the enrollment study that helps the administration plan for the number of students that will be coming in upcoming classes. There was a good amount of discussion around the need, if this was a need or a want at this time, given the timing of the last enrollment study. There were two main factors that led the committee to approve this idea. One is the new Enfield School, which changes the grade configurations pretty dramatically. So planning against the school level is important. And then there's just been changes in the overall development of the township, which requires reevaluation. Total cost was $9,828, and that's split between us and the Montgomery County Planning Commission because they have an interest in making sure we get that right. And that does not require board approval and will move forward out of committee. Second topic was a good body of work that Mr. Bray and Transportation put together to look at alternative transportation contracts in the hope and what we hope never becomes the case of a driver shortage, just given the conditions that we're operating the school district in today. He did quite a bit of research and looked at a supplier named ALC Schools, LLC, which provides alternative transportation to many school districts in the area. Mr. Bray has gone through the full due diligence on understanding that as an option for us. We will look at a contract for approval in the September 2021 board meeting. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. It's important to note that the committee commended Mr. Bray for the due diligence and making sure that we got ahead of this, given the pandemic environment we're operating in. Third, we talked about 4 specific residents who have requested waivers for interest and fees associated with their tax payment. The 4 specific cases were all directly related to restrictions and limitations on in-person contact during COVID-19, which did not allow them to actually satisfy their tax payment, although they certainly had the money and presented it. It was just because of that in-person contact restriction that fees were incurred, so we are waiving those fees. And finally, we just talked about future meetings, so we will be meeting on October 14th, 2021, and we'll have updates as that meeting approaches. That is the update from Finance Committee.
Can I just ask a question
Yes.
about the transportation contract? I just want to be clear that transportation contract does not, it supplements, but does not supplant our drivers. Is that correct?
Dr. Yannicka, do you want to?
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure that we're not looking at a different contract for transportation. We're just looking to supplement our drivers in the event we don't have enough drivers to support the students. Okay, just making sure. Thanks.
We have affirmative. That is correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board on that? Okay, great. We'll move to the presentation of the athletic health and safety plan. Mr. Ferraro.
I just want to confirm that everyone can hear me. Perfect. Let me get my screen shared. So tonight we'll be talking about the athletics health and safety plan. Before I get started, I just want to say that this plan is fluid. We're not beholden to anything today. We will update our plan as we get new information from the county, from the CDC, or if transmission rates drop. You know, to use a bad sports pun, I'm not opposed to making a halftime adjustment if needed. So as information becomes readily available to us, we will pivot if need be. So I just want to take us through a couple of our key points. Mrs. Smith, I know you asked about masking, so hopefully I can clear up some questions for you. Let me just get my faces out of the way so I can see what I'm looking at. So our athletic and health and safety plan currently states that our masking guidance will be in accordance with the most recent recommendations from the county, and that includes indoor masking. So masking, the reason that we elected to mask while indoors is athletics are really an extension of the classroom. So if we're masking while we're in the classroom, we're going to mask while we're inside for athletics. And that includes while riding the bus to and from away contests, while in the locker rooms, during practices that would occur indoors, for inclement weather, It excludes water polo because while student athletes are actively swimming, we don't want them in masks. We did that last year for swimming. We're going to continue that trend for water polo this year. This includes while in the weight room and while in team meetings that occur indoors. This current guidance does not recommend that masks should be worn outside. Therefore, we're not going to require masks while outdoors. So while outdoors, our athletes are going to be unmasked. Our coaching staff is going to be unmasked. We're looking at some screening and monitoring. Last year, as many of you are aware, we were screening athletes as they arrived onto our campus. We're asking athletes and coaching staff to self-monitor while at home before they come to our campus. This self-monitoring should include temperature checks, signs and symptom checks, and any recent close contact with individuals that are suspected of COVID-19. We are supplying a form for all of our student athletes and our coaching staff so that they can use that form while at home to kind of go through the checklist, and that's available on our website currently. It's also being distributed to our coaching staff so they can hand out hard copies if need be. We just ask that all of our coaches and or athletes are notifying the administration immediately if they're starting to feel sick or if they've been in contact with someone that's suspected of having COVID-19. For our social distancing measures, we don't have any restrictions while outdoors. There's no guidance currently that says that we need to maintain physical distancing while outside, but we are asking our teams to be mindful, right? If there are opportunities for athletes while on the sidelines to space out, we are asking them to do so. While indoors, we're going to try to replicate the classroom as much as possible. We're going to ask that our athletes try to maintain 3 feet. Now, this is where feasible. Obviously, if there are some situations while we're inside, for water polo, for instance, when those kids are practicing, it's inherently impossible to maintain 3 feet of physical distance. So we have some flexibility while indoors. We are suggesting that our coaching staff continue to recommend to the athletes to arrive to practice fully dressed and ready to go. That can cut down some of our unnecessary traffic in our locker rooms because locker rooms will be opened this season. If kids arrive to class or to practice ready to go, then, if we can cut that number in half, then we'll have less kids in locker room, more space for our student athletes to spread out. And then last but not least, these are some of the cleaning procedures that we have for this upcoming season. And a lot of this is going to look very similar to what we did in the past because we've maintained all of our same standards from last year. We had an extremely successful year last year in athletics through extremely challenging times. And we attributed that to some of the mitigation efforts that we had with frequent hand washing and sanitizing, the availability of our sanitation stations, which have hand sanitizer, disposable masks, sanitizing wipes, and among other things, gloves and things like that. So those will still be spread around campus. We're still going to, our coaching staff is still going to get on our student athletes about making sure that they're staying safe and trying to, keep up their hygiene and wipe down their equipment and take their stuff home every day to try to keep their teammates and our staff safe. Other than that, that's really the general gist of our health and safety plan for athletics. Our full plan will be posted to the athletics website where you guys will be able to reference. And as always, if you guys ever have any questions about our plan or need clarification on anything like that, you can always reach out to me directly and I'll do the best I can to answer anything for you.
Which was about clarifying masking.
Oh, I'm seeing a question in the Q&A about spectators. My fault, Tracy. Yes, we are allowing spectators to our events this year. You know, all of our sports occur outdoors, and we will gladly let you come to the games this year.
And also, I believe last board meeting, there was a question regarding the policy or practices actually for our students as they are visiting other schools that may have differing health and safety practices.
Yeah, so I've spent a good deal of time speaking with local athletic directors. And of course, there's going to be small variations between the schools, but the schools that we play, the Suburban One League, we're all pretty close to the same philosophies and things like that when it comes to our health and safety plans. Now, of course, there are some schools in Bucks County that are not requiring masks, and they're suggesting masks in the classroom. For us, since we don't have a volleyball team, our only indoor sport is water polo, where no athlete is going to be masked. If we get back to the winter season and we're still in the same situation with transmission rates and things like that, and we need to work with other schools that may not be masked, and we are still masked, then we'll do what we did what we did last year, which is, we'll work with the teams. All the schools that we play, we have really good relationships with. And last year they were willing to mask up to play us. And we would be willing to do the same for them. So we hope that trend will continue. I meet with the Suburban One League athletic directors probably twice a month at this point to talk about all of these same questions. So we hope that when we play these schools that they will mask up if need be.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ferraro. Appreciate
Of course.
that. Are there any other questions from the board about the health and safety plan? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to the administrative report. Superintendent's report, Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone.
So I've unmuted myself and added my microphone. I'm hoping everybody can hear me. Okay. All right. So good evening, everyone. On Monday afternoon, Mr. Thorne and I toured the 4 schools to assess their readiness for opening to staff on August 30th and students on September 8th. I'm extremely grateful to our maintenance team, custodial services team, and technology team for their diligence in cleaning, organizing, and setting up our classrooms district-wide. While we have a few finishing touches to accomplish over the next 13 days, overall, the buildings look wonderful. Our grounds are being spruced up this week. Painting is being completed in several areas, and our principals are working with the administrative assistants and the business office to ensure that all supplies will arrive on time. The summer is truly one of the busiest times of the year for us, and I'm very thankful to everyone who works during the summer months to get us ready for September. Each year, in accordance with the EPA's Asbestos Hazard Emergency Response Act, the HERA of 1987, school districts are required to give annual notification stating that the asbestos management plan for each building is available for public review. A copy of the asbestos management plan is currently kept in the operations department. These records are available for review during the normal school business hours, and this will be our annual announcement of our asbestos management. Okay. With regard to staffing, our human resources team, along with administrators under the direction of Ms. Kerr, have been actively conducting interviews for all staffing positions available for this year. We currently have openings in transportation, food service, and instructional support, and we welcome all applicants. We have a competitive salary and benefits plan for these openings, and we look forward to beginning the year fully staffed in all areas. Several weeks ago, we emailed a survey to all district staff asking whether they are fully vaccinated, and if so, to upload a copy of their vaccination card. To date, 250 staff members have responded, and 96.8% of those respondents are fully vaccinated. We are grateful to our staff for their responses to the survey, recognizing that some members of the staff have health conditions that have caused them to wait on vaccination under consultation with their doctors. We continue to receive responses as staff return from summer break, and we are optimistic that our rate of vaccination by staff will continue to be extremely high. We are also underway with registration and enrollment. This is an annual registration, and about 50% of all student registrations have been completed as of today. We want to thank our families for your diligence. The new Registration Gateway online system replaces all the paperwork that families usually complete on the first day of school. All families need to complete this process. We are extending the deadline through this Friday, August 20th, and we ask remaining families to please log on to Registration Gateway. You can do that as soon as you sign on to our website, or you go to the website, you will get a pop-up message with a link to the registration. If you have any difficulty logging in or any questions, you can email studentservices@sdst.org, and we'll be happy to get you an answer. Our student commitment survey, we greatly appreciate the 1,654 responses we have received to our student commitment survey, which assists our building principals in their planning for the new year. Currently, nearly 99% of student responses have indicated a return to in-person learning, and 22 students are planning to attend our virtual program for the fall semester. We're preparing for those who have not responded to attend in person. So any family still considering virtual school should contact Dr. Johnston immediately. And finally, we have this week's summer spotlight on our summer programs. This summer, we have offered not only our typical extended school year program, but also 4 weeks of Spartan Academies to assist students in growing their skills and readiness for the new year. We are very thankful to our coordinators, Nicole Schrays, Krista Keister, and Yamila Kent, for all of their hard work and dedication, as well as the many teachers and assistants who work this summer with our students. Dr. Van Voren is here to introduce our spotlight for tonight and to answer any questions you may have about our student program. Dr. Van Voren?
Okay, good evening. My name is Dr. Catherine Van Voren, and I am the Director of Student Services here for Springfield Township. It is my distinct pleasure to present to you this evening a short video highlighting our summer programming. We have a little bit from our ESY coordinator, Nicole Schrage, and you'll hear from some of our students, staff, and teachers. And then you'll see some from our Spartan Academies that are new to us this year. For our ESY program, we had 71 students attend full-time. And for our Spartan Academies, we had a grand total of 340 students that took part in the services. So we were very excited about that. As Dr. Yannickun already said, we want to thank our 3 coordinators who worked very hard this summer, as well as all of the teachers and support staff that made it happen. Because of them, the students had an enjoyable and fun summer. So without further ado, please enjoy this video and the smile it will give you, because I assure you it will be the best thing you've seen all day.
Hello, Springfield Spartans. My name is Nicole Schrage, and I'm the Extended School Year Coordinator. It is a real privilege to share with you about our Extended School Year programming. ESY is a program that serves students bound eligible to bridge and maintain skills throughout the summer to have a successful start to the school year. Not only are we working on academic and functional programming, but we are dynamic. We have an energy and a buzz of high levels of fun and learning engagement. I hope you enjoy the picture slideshow and enjoyed as much as we have this summer. Thank you so much.
ESY is a continuity of services, but it is engaging for the students, it's enriching for the students, and it also builds lifelong relationships with both staff and students and the combination.
So I am Austin and Gil. I work with Academy more up and move.
Hi, my name is Leo. My favorite part yet was the Olympic Games and the color one.
My name's Steve Brown. I enjoyed the fitness class.
Hi, my name is Elijah and I enjoyed coordinating.
Hi, my name is Maya. I like making new friends.
Hi, I'm India. I want to tell you the best thing about ESY for me was changing lives and inspiring dreams that kids could never imagine that they could do. So.
Hello, my name is Yamila Kent of Spartan Academy. Spartan Academy is a summer program focused on rebuilding academic confidence in students through hands-on learning and fun. It was our hope to provide welcoming spaces that were highly engaging and ignited students' passion and learning. I hope that you enjoy this small glimpse into Spartan Academy.
I learned this week was artistic swimming and karate are in common because the sport is the same. Tenemos que hacer el informe de un país.
Dr. Taratusky, that concludes my report.
Again, thank you so much to Dr. Van Voren and to all the staff who made our summer programs possible. I can't imagine that we had, it's hard for me to imagine that we had over 400 students here this summer. That's a lot of students to serve in a summer program. That's awesome. And it's always such a pleasure. That is to see what our students have done. That's of course why we're here and why we do the work that we do. So thank you again. Okay. All right, let's move to the agenda. Personnel. Okay. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: certificated personnel, support personnel, COVID compensatory services, CCS personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities for 2021, 2022, and conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions? Okay. Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard?
Aye.
Dr. Etlin?
Aye.
Mr. Needleman?
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield?
Aye.
Dr. Taratusky?
Aye.
Incentive payment to Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone in the amount of $2,000 prorated to 6 months to be paid in one lump sum and not to be included in her salary for successful accomplishment of her established objective performance standards for the 2020-2021 school year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Okay. Ms. Michaels?
I would actually like to make a comment.
go
Just, having gone through the evaluation and the objectives, I just wanted to commend you, Dr. Yannicone, for a terrific first half of a year, a historic half of year it has been to operate in this environment, and just appreciate all, not just the performance, but the effort and the clarity and guidance that you've provided to the administration. So great job.
Thank you very much. Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard?
Aye.
Dr. Etlin?
Aye.
Mr. Needleman?
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield?
Aye.
Dr. Taratusky?
Aye.
Education and Student Services, the Lincoln Center for Family and Youth. The Board of School Directors approves the service agreements between the Lincoln Center for Family and Youth and the Springfield Township School District for the 2022 school year for students 20210817-01 and 202-10817-02. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Edlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
The Board of School Directors approves the enrollment contract between the Camp Hill School and the Springfield Township School District for the 2021-2022 school year for student 202-10817-03F. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions? Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Edlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Number 3, the Board of School Directors, it's the Nexus School. The Board of School Directors approves the tuition contract between the Nexus School and the Springfield Township School District for the 2021-2022 school year for student 202-10817-04. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Edlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
State Department of Education mandated tuition contract. The Board of School Directors approves the tuition contract between the New Jersey State Department of Education and the Springfield Township School District for the 2021-2022 school year for student 202-10817-05. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions?
I do have a question. With the Nexus School, Camp Hill School, these are fairly standard. I've not seen a New Jersey Department of Education mandated tuition contract come through before. So can you just provide a little bit more background on the relationship with the state of New Jersey on this one?
This is another private.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay. This is another out-of-district placement. And Dr. Van Born, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add to that, but it's just another one of our individual student placements, correct? So just to make sure everyone heard that, Dr. Van Voren indicated that this is a renewal of a contract for a specialized placement for a student who needs special. Thank you.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Edlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Approves the purchase of digital and hard copy resources for level 1 Spanish instruction for grades 6 and 7 from Vista Higher Learning at a cost of $67,914 for a 6-year subscription. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Edlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman. Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
School codes of conduct. The Board of School Directors approves the attached code of conduct for the middle school and the high school. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions?
I do, sorry. I did go through the codes of conduct and they look both standard and comprehensive. My question is, were there major changes? Because it didn't have a comparison to the prior document that we should note?
There were changes that were conducted under the direction of Dr. Davis last winter. But we felt it was important to have the board review the code of conduct in the event of any progressive discipline that would occur during the year. So nothing really substantive changed, but updated.
Questions from the board?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Number 7, the Board of School Directors approves the attached code of conduct statement for the elementary schools. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions? Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
LLC. The Board of School Directors approves the contract with Therapy Central LLC to provide speech language services for the district as needed at the hourly rate listed in the contract effective August 1st, 2021. This contract replaces the current agreement with Laurie Sherman Speech Pathology LLC, rendering it no longer in effect. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions from the board? Did the change their name? So this is just a new agency altogether, correct? Okay, great, thank you.
And just to repeat for the microphone, it sounded like the speech pathologist here had an update in her certificate, which made it a requirement that we had a new contract in place. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly?
She's working with another company.
She's working with another company, same pathologist working with another company. Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Safety plan for the fall athletics. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Aye.
Dr. Taratusky.
Under Business Office and Finance, contract with Berkheimer. Board of School Directors approves Kara A. Michaels, Business Administrator, Katie Braun, Assistant Business Manager, and Stephen Kutcher, Accounting Specialist, as authorized district personnel to request and receive tax information and records from Berkheimer as outlined in the confidentiality resolution. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions from the board? Ms. Michaels?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Springfield Aquatic Club, the Board of School Directors approves the attached agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and the Springfield Aquatic Club effective August 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2024. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second? Any comments or questions?
Mr. Bedard.
Aye.
Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield.
Aye.
Dr. Taratusky.
Aye. Waiver of interest and penalties. The Board of School Directors approves the waiver of interest and penalties incurred on the 2019-2020 school property taxes for the following parcels. Number 52-00-14023-18-1, in the amount of $1,752.52. Parcel number 52-00-01665-03-8 in the amount of $1,014.20. Parcel number 52-00-15994-00-1 in the amount of $1,086.33. And parcel number 52-00-12340-00-1 in the amount of $1,167.45. Is there a motion?
Motion.
And a second. Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Needleman.
Let's ask a question of that. These are the parcels about which Mr. Johnson spoke earlier. Right, just to wrap it up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay.
That is correct. Just to repeat for the microphone, these are the 4 parcels that were discussed in the Finance Committee meeting as tax interest and
Waivers.
fees that are being waived. Yes,
Yes, they're related to COVID.
that's correct.
Okay. Sure. Any other comments or questions from the board? Ms. Michael?
Mr. Bedard. Dr. Etlin.
Aye.
Mr. Needleman.
Aye.
Ms. Sarsfield. Dr. Taratusky.
Non-agenda items. We do not have anyone signed up in person. So if you wish to make a comment and you are online, please use the hand raise feature and we will call on you. Please state where you reside in the district, and we're trying to keep comments to 3 minutes. Okay.
All right. Mary Ellen Reeves.
Ms. Reeves, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
Okay, great. Actually, I just pulled up outside, which is ironic. Just coming from a meeting myself. Mary Ellen Reeves, North Hills, Pennsylvania. I was hoping this evening, if I recall correctly, in a previous school board meeting, there was a mention of a new curriculum. I believe it was called Second Step. At that juncture, am I correct with that?
We do use the Second Step curriculum in the district, yes.
Okay, I believe at that juncture it was unanimously passed by the board until 2022. Am I correct?
I would have to go back and look at that.
Okay, so can you refresh my memory, because I don't know exactly what that curriculum is. Can you tell me what exactly that curriculum encompasses?
Well, we typically use this period for a comment period. It's typically not a Q&A. However, we can offer some brief information this evening, and then if you would like some additional information about the curriculum, then we're happy to have Dr. Johnston or Dr. Van Boren reach out to you.
Okay, well, that would be fine, but in the previous meeting, there was no discussion of the curriculum. So is that listed anywhere where I could read about it? Because I don't want to waste your time here either. Is there somewhere I could take a look at that curriculum?
Absolutely. Dr. Van Boren can send you a link to that curriculum. And typically when we're approving curriculum, that is discussed in academic affairs committee meetings. So before the curriculum is approved here with the board, there is discussion there. So, but Dr. Van Boren can reach out to you if you want to put email in the Q&A, or we will have to get that information to you.
Maybe you could just clarify one thing for me. Is in fact the nonprofit behind Second Step a committee called the Committee for Children? Is that what I'm looking at? If so I can do some of my own research. The CEO is Andrea Lovenhill. Is that the same curriculum?
So we'll send you a link, and we'll send you the link to that. And because I don't have that information, we don't have that information right offhand here.
Okay.
And some resources that will help you to better understand the curriculum.
And you would like me just to put my email in the chat?
You can put it in the Q&A, and Dr.
Okay.
Van will be able to get it.
Excellent. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other comments on non-agenda items?
I see no other hands.
Okay. Give it a few minutes.
No.
All right. So future meeting dates, the interim board meeting is Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. That will also be a hybrid meeting. Hopefully we'll get all our technology kinks worked out. And then our regular board meeting will be held Tuesday, September 14th. Again, that will be a hybrid meeting. At this point, we have property committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 24th at 2021 and at 8 a.m. and that's a virtual meeting. Okay. Thank you so much for your attendance, participation, and patience through all our technical glitches, and we're adjourned.